Hello guys, Red Pill Phil. Hope you liked and subscribed to my channel. Hope you're resonating with all the messages that are going through the channel. Yes, I'm trying to get my head around certain scenarios that are going on. Now, for me, I think at the moment what we're all going through, we're all trying to work out what the hell is going on. We can't quite put our finger on it. We can't quite articulate it. Now, the reason probably for me, in my opinion, why is because we don't get presented with the full facts. We're not told the full truth. There's a saying that I was told when I was younger, treated like mushrooms, fed bullshit and kept in the dark. And that is the total truth for me of the matter, as far as the common man is concerned. So because of that, we tend to react to things rather than proact. Now, many people have researched over the years, hence me kind of semi-waking up. There's a fine jazz singer called Erykah Badu who had a song out which she had a profound lyric. And that lyric was, "The man that knows something that knows he knows nothing at all." Now, to me, that is the most profound lyric I've ever kind of heard in my life. Because we know nothing. We think we know, but we don't know. So what we tend to do, we tend to react to situations and scenarios that are thrust upon us rather than proact, rather than stand back and analyse what the situation is. See it as a bigger picture. And even if we can try and analyse it as a bigger picture, because we don't know the full facts, we still can't pinpoint it. So I'm sure my parents, my parents going right back, have felt the same thing. There's something not quite right with the way life is driven, which the way the public are treated, but you can't quite work out what's going on. So we tend to kind of jump in and react to certain scenarios rather than, if we was given the full information, we would be able to react in the proper way. So I thought today at lunch, I just sat down and just compiled a little bit of a list of all the things that I feel that are wrong in life. The thing that makes probably our life on this planet a hell of a lot more miserable than it needs to be. Now, some might say it's artificial. Some might say it's just a natural course of living. Now, it's up to you to decide. It's not for me to say. I'm just giving my opinion. Now, the list I've drawn up, let me start. It's Satanism, cancer, humans pitted against each other, child trafficking, sex slaves, GMO, which is genetically modified organisms, otherwise known as frankenfoods, eugenics, iodine, fluoride in the water supply, secret societies, fiat money, credit, in brackets debt, paedophilia, big pharma, the emergence of the police state, and high altitude aerial spraying, in brackets geoengineering. Vaccination. Now, you look at all them things and you think, well, that's just kind of the normal runnings of life, and, you know, life is always going to be such, and people are always going to be, you know, the way it are. It's a natural course. Okay. Now, for me, Satanism, you think that is a dark, evil spirit, which is running against the grain of the normal person. The normal person innately wants to profess good, wants to be good, treat people like you want to be treated yourself. You want to do good, you want to see the good in people. Satanism, however, has a different course. So that has its many connotations that passes through life, through different genres, whether it be film, music, arts, whatever, you know. Cancer. Now, cancer is something that's close to my heart, so I don't want anyone reacting to this because I've lost family members. I lost my mother 3 weeks before my 17th birthday through cancer. And I happened to lose, later on in life, my mother-in-law through cancer. All come across very quick, ended very quick. Now, with cancer, you think to yourself, well, what do they want you to do? They want you to sign out a sponsor sheet. They want you to put as much money in cancer research as possible in order for them to get a cure for cancer. Which sounds on the face of it honourable. Which why millions of people year in, year out dress up in pink, dye the hair all funny colours, wear all mad t-shirts and run round and collect money, believing that it's for a good cause. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with that at all. But then when you think of the whole ideal of it, you think, well, cancer research has been going for 115 years, but yet they've still got no cure, and yet still cancer is on the rise in very various shapes and forms. Now you think to yourself, why is that? 115 years, billions upon billions of pounds amassed. Why are they no nearer? Yeah? And when you hear stories that certain doctors who are outside of the establishment have come that far of getting a cure, maybe even getting a cure, and then all of a sudden things happen to them. All of a sudden they're found dead. Many stories that have happened like that. When you talk about the different ways of treating cancer, their way of treating cancer, chemotherapy is one of them. Now for me, chemotherapy is almost like just standing in a big microwave oven. I don't see the logic in it. Now, I'm not saying that people shouldn't do it, because of course it's up to them what they want to do and how they want to treat it. Yeah. But if you've only been told one course of how to treat something, then by very nature that is the course you're going to go with. If you're not told about other remedies that may work or may have a possibility of working before you get to the nth degree, which the nth degree should be chemotherapy, really, that should be the last course of action, because for me that is the harshest course of action, and it's not even guaranteed to work. When you look at alkaline diets, it's been known to work. When you look at organic food, it's been known to work. When you look at massive amount of vitamin C, it's been known to work. When you look at turmeric, it's been known to work. All these remedies are natural. Won't harm the body, but the body has a natural response to that and has a positive effect in fighting cancer. Yeah? Cannabis oil. Now, everyone's got their own opinion about cannabis, and fair play to them. I'm not saying let's everyone just start smoking weed. I mean, it's not about that. It's actually about extracting the positive elements out of the cannabis into a super rich oil, which then can be digested and which has been known to eliminate cancers. There was one story I researched about, which was a 10-month-old child in America that had developed a tumour the size of a ping pong ball on the head. Poor thing, right? Now, obviously, the protocol was, yeah, microwave up, yeah, that's fine, no problem. And then this family decided, no, we're not going to do that. Now, whether because they were hippified or whatever, you know, they just were kind of anti-establishment and didn't want to go down the establishment route. So they decided to do the cannabis oil, okay? So they went to Colorado, where the rules are more relaxed on cannabis there. They got the cannabis oil. They proceeded to do a course of treatment with cannabis oil on a pacifier for a couple of months, I think it was. Over that course of a couple of months, they shown various scans. At the end of the course, guess what happened? It disappeared. Totally. Without a trace. No after effects, no side effects, no long-lasting effects, no nothing. Gone. And that's a 10-month-old child, yeah? So you think to yourself, well, they do know how to solve it. I mean, CDC, which is, for our American friends, they know all about it. For the English friends, CDC is the Centre for Disease Control, which I think, if I'm right, I may be inaccurate here, but I think I'm right in saying that it's our equivalent to nice. Now, CDC had sponsored a certain group to do studies. That certain group done studies on cannabis, and they concluded that if you extract certain strains from that cannabis, it actually does cure some cancers. They admitted that at the top of the webpage. However, as the webpage went down, they said, well, we don't really use it. We only use it as an after treatment for people who've had chemotherapy. So you think to yourself, well, do you want to keep me on the drug bus? Is that the ultimate game here? Which is very disappointing, very shocking when you're thinking of this is affecting all mankind. This is a mankind, man-woman ailment that is across the board. You know, it's indiscriminate of race and gender. You know, it's taken us all out. And they know it. They know that they could do a better job. So for me, that's my opinion on that. Child trafficking. Humans are pitted against one another. Divide and conquer. Child trafficking, we all know that goes on. It's not a conversation too many people want to talk about. I've spoke about it in the company of a few people, and they're literally like, oh, cognitive dissonance kicks in. They want to just talk about something frilly and nice. I'll never forget talking about a documentary that I'd watched called Conspiracy of Silence. And that was about a British TV company called Yorkshire TV. Back in the day, it's no longer existing, but Yorkshire TV financed a documentary to be filmed showing the American politics, pretty much divulging around one person, but it was showing American politics at Capitol Hill and how there was basically paedophilia running right through politics in America, and how they were facilitating it, how there was planes carrying kids to different parts of the world to facilitating paedophilia. It's all documented. Now, it was funny because they've done a very good job on this documentary. It's like about an hour and a half long, something like that. But just before it was due to be aired, I think it was in the early 80s, something like that. It was funny that some people from America decided to compensate Yorkshire TV and overcompensate them in a sense that make sure this doesn't air. So it never did air. But unfortunately for them, it come on the internet. So I'm sure millions of people have seen it over the years. So, I mean, I've had conversations with friends, particularly over that one documentary. When I watched that one documentary, I went to a friend's house because it was on my mind. We were chatting about other things, and then this come into topic. Now, this male chap that I was talking to, articulate, funny, witty guy, intelligent guy, I was talking about it because I was freaked out, because generally that should be the response, and I'm sure that's what Yorkshire TV wanted people. It was a shock thing, you know. They wanted people to go, whoa, what is going on here? You know, it's disparaging what's going on to the common man, the proletariat. So I'm having this conversation with this chap, and as I'm telling him about it and breaking down the actual documentary and all the points that were brought within it, cognitive dissonance kicked in with him. He couldn't handle it. So he immediately went, mate, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Now, next to him was one of his friends. Now, the funny thing was, immediately, once he'd said that to me, he turned to his friend, and I joke you not, this is a grown, mature adult. The first thing he said to his friend was, what's your first 5 superheroes? Superheroes, as in your Batman, Superman, yeah? So we've gone from paedophilia within politics, that could be broadly spread worldwide, but generally the conversation manifested around American politics. But we all know it runs through British politics. We all know it runs through all the elites everywhere, because they're sick bastards. That's the way they are. yeah? But this geezer couldn't handle it. So it's almost like he went from a mature conversation to an adolescent conversation. And then he was bouncing and bubbling because him and his mate were like, oh, well, I like Spider-Man, oh, well, that. And I'm just there going, what? Really? So this is a level of cognitive dissonance that we all kind of put our blinkers because we don't want to see the wrongs in life. None of us do. But these elites think differently than that. Sex slaves, we all know it goes on. Particularly in the Middle East. The left won't talk about that. The left are all up for feminism and all for women's rights and kiddies' rights and this, that and the other, and that black person's got rights and this one's got rights. But they won't talk about sex slaves, harems, you know, all that kind of stuff. They won't talk about it. So if you don't talk about it, how's the public supposed to know about it? If the public don't know about it, how can they discuss it? So it's not on the topic, you know? GMO foods, genetically modified organisms, you know? Frankenfoods, all the various chemicals, Roundup, all the stuff that's used to make it, you know? And you think to yourself, this is artificial in every sense. I don't want a banana that looks absolutely perfect because it's been genetically modified. I want a banana that's a freaking banana. If it goes off 2 days earlier, then fine, I can live with that because it's a real freaking banana. That's what bananas are supposed to do, you know? Mass migration, eugenics. That is very much an elite conversation. Conversations that's been had in secret, in private, where these elites, unelected border people, billionaires, whatever, decide all of a sudden that there's too many people on this planet and we need to go through a depopulation program. And they'll do that in various ways, whether it be vaccination, whether it be through the food or whatever, yeah? They're not on the depopulation program because they're all building the bunkers. They're all got the, you know, the nuclear redoubts. So they're all right. Shit hits a fan. They're out of there. We're all stuck in the middle of it, yeah? Iodine. Iodine is an element on the scale, on the periodic table, that is essential to the human body. But they won't tell you that. I've never seen one TV advert yet promoting the benefits of iodine, but yet they'll promote GMO foods, they'll promote all kinds of pharmaceutical drugs, they'll promote all kinds of perfumes, deodorants, you know, all contain chemicals in which you don't know what's happening to you, whether it be externally or internally, over years, I'm not saying because you use them you're guaranteed to get cancer. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm saying it's detrimental to the body because it's not natural. You can get more natural formulated deodorants and perfumes, which I recommend anyone to kind of steer more towards, but by and large, they don't promote that because they want to keep you at the company store, don't they? So, iodine. You think, this is something that, when I personally take it, once I found out about it, once I've done my research on iodine deficiency, once I started looking at other countries that were iodine rich, that pretty much do not have the same cancer rates that we do. They don't have the same types of cancer that we do because they're iodine rich. Omega-3s, all other kinds of foods that iodine contain. Yeah? Now I take this product, I've covered the label, and I'm not trying to promote anyone, I'm just telling you. Now this is underground sourced iodine, so this is pure iodine, yeah? Now this is the good shit. This is good for your thyroid gland, it's good for your hair, good for your nails, and it unclogs the brain. It works wonders. When I started taking it, I felt like I was in a room that was foggy, and then someone opened all the doors, they turned the fan on, and all the fog just went, and it was like, what? All of a sudden, I had mental clarity. And that is probably the best way of putting it. Now with this, I said, I paid a visit to one of my relations. Now, one of my relations at that time was, and still is in partnership with a chap, a very experienced chap, okay? And I'm going to read his title here. He's retired now, but this was his title. He was the Surgeon Commander in the Royal Navy and subspecialised in ionizing radiation, okay? He's also a doctor and he's a senior medical officer. Now, like I say, he's retired. So when I got this product, I took it down because one, I wanted to take it while I was staying down there for a few days. But when I knew about his field, I thought, I'm going to ask him, see if I'm doing the right thing, to see if I've been hoodwinked, see if I'm just buying a product that, you know, is snake oil. And half of me didn't want to ask him because I thought, if anyone can kind of debunk it, it's going to be this geezer. Surgeon Commander in the Royal Navy and subspecialised in ionizing radiation, pardon me. You know what he said? He looked at the label, he looked at the contents, and he said, it's a strong iodine, but I thoroughly recommend that you take it because your body needs it. And I felt on cloud nine. I felt he totally validated me. But yeah, I'll talk about this to my friends. And you know what? Only one of my friends has actually took the time out to go and get the product. Go figure. But yeah, we're all buying all kinds of shit, spraying it all over us, eating all this. You only have to watch an advert. Oh, I'll buy that. But yet that is better than that. But go figure. So this is why, you know, over the awakening process that I've gone through, it freaks me out when I talk to members of my family, members of my friends, and they're like, oh, yeah, what time's EastEnders on? You know, this is the mentality that you've got. So the reason why I'm doing this, because I'm trying to wake people up to say, research. I'm not even saying listen to me. Research. Research on iodine deficiency. Research on the benefits of iodine. What you and your family could do, okay? Eugenics. You've got eugenics programs going on all over the world. Now, this is something that's mainly talked about within elite circles. Elites have made the decision that they want to pull the ladder up on the ship, don't they? You know, they're already sorted. They feel they're far superior. We are inferior to them. So the best thing to do is to go through a worldwide depopulation program. Now, people might not want to believe it. That's fine. Do your own research. Don't listen to me. I'm just spouting off my opinion. Okay? With the certain things that you've got, your vaccination programs. Okay? You've got your man Bill Gates. Mr. Bill Gates. Now, Mr. Bill Gates, one of his, he's done very many seminars talking about vaccination programs. He's got a foundation called the Bill and Belinda Gates Foundation, where they do vaccination programs around the third world. Yeah, and you, on the face of it, you think, yeah, what a great guy, what a great guy. But then when you hear about 65,000 Indian kids that are almost paralysed because of his vaccination programme, you start to reconsider whether it's actually a good idea what he's doing, you know. And then when he talks in terms of vaccinations and getting the people population down to zero in order to make the world a better place for him and his elite buddies, and he says things like, now, if we do a really good job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%. Now, when he says lower that, he means lower the public population, the proletariat. So it's us he's after, yeah? So when you're taking your little child for a little vaccination before they've even turned one, think of Bill Gates and his little statement. And all the other elites, what they want to try and do, yeah? Many of them have said they want to cull the population by 95%. because they feel that we are a virus. Yeah? Because they've decided that they are mentally better. The world will be a better place without us. You know, gone are the industrial days where they needed the public. You know, you see all them archive footage of the proletariat running about in the factories making all the products for the elites. They don't need that anymore because they've got automation, haven't they? They've got AI. They've got computerized stuff going on. They've got different ways of doing it. So the public's not required anymore. So just food for thought. Now, same again, that's just my opinion. Whether you agree or not, it's fine. If you want to have cognitive dissonance, that's fine also. You know, I'm fully aware. Okay. Fluoride in the water. Fluoride. Now, they do say you do need trace amounts of sodium fluoride. But there is studies to suggest that the body does not require fluoride. There's no neurological reason, there's no fundamental body reason why your body requires it. It doesn't need it. Yeah? Fluoride, for all intents and purposes, is a poison. From what I've researched on, Prozac, 84% of Prozac is fluoride. Now, anyone intelligent enough to know what Prozac does, what do you think fluoride's going to do? Now, that's in your water supply. That's in your toothpaste. It used to say on a toothpaste that if you swallow more than a pea amount, go see your doctor. Because you've ingested a fucking poison. That's why. But they won't tell you that. Yeah? So all this for me comes under eugenics. Little slow kill. Yeah? When you hear about the Nazis in the Nuremberg trials, they spoke about fluoride. It's a way of sedating people, dumbing people down. There's studies, actual studies, that talk about this. Dumbing down the population. You dumb down the population, the more subservient to what you want. The last thing you want is critical thinking, intelligent people. You want them just intelligent enough to be able to do the work, but stupid enough to fall for the shit that they're putting on us. Okay? So I'm going to read you this. As of September 2016, a total of 57 studies have been investigated, the relationship between fluoride and human intelligence. And over 40 studies have investigated the relationship fluoride and learning stroke memory in animals. Of these investigations, 50 of the 57 human studies have found that elevated fluoride exposure in associated with reduced IQ. While 45 animal studies have found that fluoride exposure impairs their learning and or memory capacity of animals. Human studies, which are based on IQ examinations over 12,000 children, provide compelling evidence that fluoride exposure during early years of life can damage a child's development brain. Okay? So if that's in your water supply, the first thing I recommend you do, don't boil it, because you ain't going to boil fluoride out your water, which one of my friends thought was a good idea. You might get some of the parasites and maybe a little bit of the heavy metals, but you ain't getting fluoride out like that. You've got to filter that shit out, yeah? And when you get other studies that tell you that as a child, if you drink fluoride from a child, within 6 to 10 years, you're talking up to 15 points off your IQ is lost through ingesting fluoride. So next time you go to the dentist and he recommends shoving a load of fluoride in your kid's mouth, think about it. Because it's not so much fluoride as in sodium fluoride. The things that worry me is the artificial fluoride, the fluoric acid, which is fluoride, which is a byproduct of the fertilizer trade. Artificial. Now, in its rawest form, fluoride will burn through concrete. You have to have a suit on to treat the stuff. But so many parts per million is put into the water supply. So what do you think that has? An effect on the population. Yeah? So I'm just saying, they try to keep us docile. Keep you docile, then you'll just consume and buy, bombard you with adverts, subliminal, propaganda, blah, 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 and we all fall for it, don't we? Yeah? Keep you on big pharma, and hey presto, you've got one controlled population. The last thing they want is a well-informed, critical thinking population, because we'll wake up, we realise that we're not putting up with this shit anymore, and then we'll also realise that we outnumber them. I wouldn't even like to think of the ratio. We so outnumber them. So because we outnumber them, the only way they can suppress us is by doing this. The old slow kill. Keep us in the dark. So you've got secret societies, fiat money, credit, keeping you in credit, keep you debtified. I mean, it's ironic. I received that through the post. It's not a credit card as such, but it's an invitation to get on the freaking credit bus, yeah? Keep me in a life of debt. Why not? Now, what they don't know is I don't do credit at all. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Some people might want to use it. Some people live their life by it. It's up to you what you do. You live by your own consequences. But I ain't got an ounce of debt to my name apart from the mortgage. That's about it. I have a debit card. And I have the philosophy, if I haven't got the money for something, I won't buy it. If I can't afford it, I'll save. So it's a drip in order to gain. Yeah? And then not only that, I gain a lot of satisfaction once I've actually amassed it, because I know I've worked hard to get it. I'm not just going to go, yeah, swipe, and then I'll pay for it for the next 25 years. But that's my philosophy, and I'm not saying you're wrong for doing that. What I'm saying, it's wrong for them to put that on you as if to say, that's your God. Credit is not your God. Credit is a debt slave, and it will keep you in servitude for the rest of your life. You know? Secret societies, paedophilia, big pharma. Yeah, you can treat everything now. There's a tablet for everything. But a tablet has a side effect. Tablets have certain reactions. There's certain chemicals within them tablets, isn't there? Now, everyone's different. No two people are the same, I guess. So where a tablet might affect me one way, it'll affect certain people another way. They might have an adverse reaction. They might have a positive reaction. You don't know. But they just roll. High altitude aerial spraying, otherwise known as geoengineering. Absolutely shocking. So you wonder why you get your cancers when they're spraying things like lead, barium, arsenic, high altitude. So it all filters down through the air. So people go chemtrails, and then the first response is, oh, chemtrails, oh, conspiracy theory. Tap in geoengineering. That is a scientific term. You'll get pictures of planes the size of jumbo jets that have been fitted out with cylinders the size of boilers and bigger, racked up. All the seats taken out of the plane, rack of cylinders with pipes leading out where they're spraying all kinds of shit high up in the altitude on us. So you wonder, all comes back, you wonder why cancer rates are going up. So I could go on and on. I could really go right through this list. I've not even gone into fiat money yet. I'd love to have gone in that, but this clip is going on too long. So I'm just trying to say, what we need to do, we need to proact, not react. What I'd like to do is to have everyone empowered, critically think of how we're being bumfucked by these elites, yeah? Not just through jihadism and radicalisation. That's just one facet of many facets, yeah? Now, I'm going to leave you with this, if I can. I don't know how well it's going to come through, but it's a comedian called George Carlin. Rest in peace. funny guy, but a truthful guy. I'm going to try and play it through the speakers because I'm not that good at introducing it over to YouTube. The clip is called "It's a Big Club and You Ain't In It." So I urge you to get it up on YouTube, and I'll try and shove it up on the page anyway. So I'm going to leave you with this. Red Pill Phil, like and subscribe. Hope you resonated. Thank you very much. If I can get it. The guy is an absolute legend, and when he spoke about it, you've got to resonate. Okay?
But there's a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason for this. There's a reason education sucks, and it's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right. They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. By the way, it's the same big club they used to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged, and nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Good, honest, hard-working people continue. These are people of modest means. Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all. At all. At all. Yeah. You know? And nobody seems to notice, nobody seems to care. That's what the owners count on, the fact that Americans will probably remain willfully ignorant of the big red, white, and blue dick that's being jammed up their assholes every day. Because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Red Pill Phil, time to wake up, guys. Empower ourselves. And let's overturn this shit.